Are we stuck in the matrix? Let's talk about the true nature of our reality. Hi, I'm Saratoga Ocean. One of the main steps in our ascension and our spiritual awakening is to take the proverbial red pill and wake up to the true nature of our reality. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Make sure you subscribe and join our growing community of lightworkers, starseeds, and awesome spiritual seekers. So, are you ready to take the red pill and begin your departure from the matrix? If so, keep on watching. The red pill refers to waking up to what is really going on. It refers to opening your eyes to the true nature of our reality. And this is a necessary part of our ascension journey. So if you want to ascend, then you need to become consciously aware of where we are right now at a much larger cosmic scale. This is the only way to get fully behind a positive intention to ascend to a higher level of reality and cosmic consciousness. Otherwise, you will just keep swimming around in a low-level matrix that is designed to keep you trapped at a low level of consciousness. The goal of the matrix is to keep you enslaved and prevent your ascension. But we are smarter than that. And because of our awakening, we are able to discover exactly what to do. It starts with something that I mentioned in an earlier video. We need to restore our ability to comprehend different layers of reality simultaneously, because that's what the controllers know how to do. And we are at a disadvantage if we don't meet our planetary challenges at the same level. We have been reduced to being linear, one-dimensional thinkers. We are collectively only aware of the very limited reality that can be interpreted through our 5 physical senses. We have been genetically engineered to have a very limited range of reality perception. And in addition to that, we are programmed from birth to believe that this limited range of perception is all there is. Now, this has been done for a very specific purpose. It's to force us to function as planetary slaves who live in what I call a conveyor belt system of life. We are told that we essentially all share the same life purpose. We are told to be educated in school, get a job, reproduce and raise offspring, and then retire and die. Now, right away, this level of uniformity in life purpose should be very suspect. Does this sound like the purpose of highly creative, empowered beings? Of course not. This is clearly a planetary slave system. We are told to be productive and contribute to the larger system by doing what we're told. That's what school is for, to train us to do that. And in between all of this, we are allowed some recreation. Things like movies and entertainment, sports and vacations. But it's all very limited and very highly controlled, just to make sure that no one gets distracted and starts thinking for themselves and thus deviates from the program. So that's the fundamental way that our lives are anchored into this slave system. And it's designed so that you can only get money by following the system. And of course, it's all set up so that you need money to survive. And that's the basic reality that we are mostly focused on every day. This slave system is run primarily by the off-world reptile beings who control us. They are mind control experts who are tasked with making sure that we mine the planet's resources and use those resources to create an AI system of life. So this brings us to 3 different layers of reality. The first layer is our human conveyor belt lifestyle. The second layer is the fact that we are tasked as slaves to build an AI infrastructure on this planet in order to seed the galaxy with an AI presence. And this plan is well underway and in its final stages of development. And the third layer is the fact that the reptile beings who control us also get their energy needs met. Because they have no natural life force energy to sustain themselves, they feed off of our anger, fear, and violence. And they are the ones responsible for keeping us divided. And that serves as an additional purpose for a fourth layer of reality that interfaces with theirs in certain peripheral ways. The fourth layer of reality has to do with the fact that there are multiple genetic experiments underway on this planet. These genetic experiments have been under development for millions of years. So planet Earth is really like a giant genetic laboratory. I mean, the diversity of life here, you guys, is astonishing. And have you ever wondered why certain really weird creatures exist? Well, this is why. There are different groups of advanced extraterrestrials who have been conducting their genetic experiments on plants, animals, and humans for millennia. This is why we have different races of human beings and different so-called bloodlines. Each race is actually a genetic pool of experimentation. So for these alien geneticists, race wars and tribalism are useful because they preserve the integrity of different pools of experiments. They preserve the different bloodlines. And this is the real reason, you guys, why intermarrying has been so frowned upon throughout history. It messes up their experiments. Now, I know that this is all very intense information, but here's why I feel compelled to talk about this right now. We are going to be confronted with this at some point in the future. So wouldn't it be better to just kind of be proactive and talk about it now so it's not like a total shock when we really get hit with this stuff? I think it's better to talk about it now when we can just be calm and it's just a conversation. So anyway, these genetic experiments are also what is behind many of the alien abductions. It's just one part of the different projects going on this planet. In fact, I would say that there could be a very good chance that we all have some form of extraterrestrial genetic material in our bodies in some form or another. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if the abduction scenario happens to most of the people on this earth. I mean, 8 or 9 or even 10 billion people is actually a very small number for them to be working with. And we can so easily have our memories erased, so we never suspect a thing. You guys need to understand that we are actually part of a much larger interplanetary, intergalactic situation. We always have been. And this is why I keep saying that the big lie we've been told that we're all alone in the universe is probably the most devastating lie that's ever been told to us. So the matrix that we live in is a false reality that has little or nothing to do with our actual reality. Now, here's an interesting little story for you guys. Some years ago, when I was doing live channeled events, we held an event in a hotel in Maryland. One of the beings that I channel as Telstar, whose name is Isadora, was speaking to the group of people who were there. She said something to the people that I will never forget. She said, "You think you're in a hotel in Bethesda, Maryland, but actually you have no idea where you really are." I mean, that was really profound. And boy, today we are really starting to see the truth of that. Our current reality is literally collapsing before our very eyes. And this could only be the beginning, you guys. Now, I also want to mention that there are likely some very positive extraterrestrials who are conducting some genetic work here for very positive reasons. Their purpose would be to alter our genetic structure to make it easier for us to ascend and live at much higher levels of reality. They could also be attempting to undo some of the genetic damage that has been done to our species by those who want to keep us under control. Now, do you guys mind if I just talk for a minute about how stupid we humans are on this planet? We're not really stupid. We've just been made stupid by all of the manipulation going on. So we need to begin correcting that immediately. Okay, so here's something else that's really going to shock you guys. But I know that you all are very brave and powerful light warriors, so you certainly can handle probably all of this stuff. So a while back, the beings that I channel said, one thing you never want to be is a soul. So let me share with you guys what a soul actually is. A soul is an encapsulated entity who has been trapped in this universe and is being used for purposes that are unrelated to that entity. Guys, you're not supposed to be a soul. A soul is an enslaved entity. You're supposed to be exactly who you really are, which is a cosmic creator. Now imagine my surprise when I recently saw a video where someone was sharing some insider information about disclosure. They said that they had been told by government sources that souls are actually the currency of this universe. And guys, that made total sense to me. Now you're starting to see why it's so devastating that they've been telling us this big, big lie that there's no one else in the universe, just us, nothing else going on, nothing to see, pay attention to your work, don't even think about these kinds of things, right? You're starting to see why they might do that. So when I say that we are in a cosmic battle for our souls, what I mean is that we need to free ourselves from this horrible form of interstellar, interdimensional slavery. Because see, it's not just happening on our planet. You should know that this is the level of freedom that the highest beings of light and love want to help us restore for ourselves. They want to help free us from all of this junk. Now back to what I was saying about how stupid we humans are. And please don't take offense, you guys. The only way to stop being stupid is to recognize that you've been that way. That way you are able to wake up and restore your power as a cosmic being. Waking up means that you start getting smart again. And that's what we're all here to do. We are here to restore our sanity and reclaim our natural intelligence and our ability to think for ourselves. Because when we do that, you guys, we become a formidable force of nature. But we have to unstupefy ourselves first. I kind of like that word, unstupefy. I just made it up, but I think I'll keep it. So let's go back to the fact that this planet is essentially a genetic farm. Have you guys heard of the book, The Law of One? Now, I've heard of it, but I haven't read it. I've heard that in this series of books, they refer to ascension as the harvest. And I've also heard that a lot of people are bothered by this term. And I think you should be bothered because it's accurate. It really is a harvest on many levels. Now, there are a lot of people who are very devoted to this book, and they will make a whole bunch of excuses as to why this word is acceptable. But I want to suggest that perhaps if that term makes you uncomfortable, then maybe you should pay attention to that feeling. I mean, the way I see it, if we need to be harvested, there's a problem with that, you guys. Powerful cosmic creators don't need to be harvested. I understand why they're using that term, and I really understand what it means. But just because some higher dimensional beings are using that term doesn't mean that we should not be alerted to the fact that it causes discomfort. Because that's your intuition speaking, my friends. That's your heart talking to you. And I don't care who is talking, and that includes me as well. You should always, always listen to your heart as your primary authority. Now, your mind cannot necessarily be trusted because it is locked into a tightly controlled matrix. But your heart is pure. Your heart knows the truth. And that's great, you guys, because it means that you always have a trustworthy authority right inside of you. And that is what you should always be listening to. Now, let's go back to unstupefying ourselves. So what is our planet consumed by right now? Fear, anger, and violence. The media has kicked this into hyperdrive. They want us at each other's throats. They want us cowering in fear. And there are so many reasons for this. Firstly, they want to keep our vibration as low as possible. That makes it extremely difficult for us to connect with the higher dimensional forces that want to help us. It also has a dramatic influence on how ascension turns out for us. See, they just want to keep us enslaved. And you guys have to understand that is their number one goal. Now, if you go back to what I said earlier in this video, you can start to understand why it is that we need to evolve into multi-layered thinkers when it comes to our reality. We need to stop fighting over which reality is true or real. I'll give you guys an example. Let's look at the current topic of race. A spiritual awakening, a great awakening, means that we humans on this planet wake up and realize that we are one. And that is a very bad revelation for the controllers. It's so powerful because if we collectively realize that and act upon it, the controllers are done. So they are very clever and very proactive. They decided to tell us that if we believe we are all equal and we are all one human race, then we are terrible, very bad people. So they pull out all the stops to continue to remind us of our original programming. They keep reminding us that we are supposed to hate and fear each other because of our skin color. Now, I'm not suggesting that the protests and all of the anguish and trauma that people are experiencing is not historically valid. I'm saying that if you believe this is the only thing going on, then you are in trouble. You're in trouble because you cannot accurately assess your situation. You are only seeing a tiny corner of what is a much bigger situation. But the controllers want you to think that this is the only thing going on, so you won't wake up and see what else is going on as well. It's totally fine to respond to the current situation that we all see happening in whatever positive way that you feel moved and inspired to do so. But it's also vitally important that you be guided by a conscious awareness of the bigger picture. Honestly, you guys, from this point on, we really need to take a cosmic perspective on literally everything happening on this planet. Otherwise, we humans are going to continue to behave like we are dumbed down animals who are well trained in doing what we are told, in believing whatever we're told to believe. And we will merely be moved from one matrix into another, fighting with each other along the way about who's right and who is wrong, and remaining totally distracted while the real controllers merrily continue on with their plan, and probably just laughing at us for how stupid stupid we are. So it's never a matter of which reality is right or wrong. Remember, these realities are all layered and they all coexist simultaneously. Right and wrong is the real trap. That's the trap that will drain your energy and leave you too depleted to ascend or further your own awakening. Not to mention giving the controllers another meal of your energy. When you awaken to all of these different layers of reality, then you are going to navigate this 3D world in a vastly different way. When you stop fighting over which one is the correct reality, you will be able to hold on to your energy and your power. Your consciousness and your intelligence will expand instantly, because now you will have the consciousness and the necessary level of awareness to see what you actually need to do at a cosmic level. See, it's not about fighting over right and wrong. It's about strategy and navigation. Doesn't that sound much more interesting? Doesn't that sound much more high level? And we can do this. It's an integral part of our awakening. You just have to be willing to let go of your old way of reacting and looking at things. I think there's a chance that we are going to see some disclosure happening at some point. So we need to prepare ourselves now by demonstrating that we are capable of higher levels of consciousness. Now, before I close, I want to give you some of the same advice that I always like to give. Keep your vibration high and listen to your heart. Make sure to meditate every single day. Engage in a high level of self-care and stay connected to nature, to the sun, and to the earth. Stay conscious, centered, and peaceful so you can think more clearly. All of this will align you with a higher level of consciousness. And if you look at it this way, you probably realize it's really not that complicated. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be back with so much more as we continue on this amazing journey together. So be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because I will be here every week on Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday with new videos. And give this video a like and share it out with your friends. I'm sending each one of you loads of love, light, and positive energy. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Namaste, everyone.